Good morning everyone, welcome down to today's live lesson. It's going to be science today, as you'll have seen in the chat and everything on the video and everything. It is, what time is it? 9 minutes to, so in about 9 minutes we're going to get started. Remember, you'll need some paper, you'll need a pen. To get started, that's all you're going to need for the actual lesson. As well as that, we've got about 9 minutes or so I'm going to say a couple of good mornings people I can see in the chat. Good morning Evie, good morning Summer, good morning Drew, good morning Isabel, good morning Milo, good morning Joseph. Okay, there's lots more. I saw Isabel, both Isabels there, year 5 and year 6, well done. Good morning to you. Good morning Amelia, good morning Millie. Okay, loads of people down there. Good morning Mrs. Rice, good to see you in the chat there. Good morning Hadassah. Okay, lots of yous in there. Good morning to all of you. If I missed you out, I apologise. There's lots of people saying hi. Morning Ali, morning Izzy, morning everyone. Okay, we've got about 9 minutes or so till the lesson starts. What you can do while you're waiting, you can obviously catch up a little bit in the chat, as long as we're being sensible, or we have this food pyramid there. We've got carbohydrates, protein, fats, vitamins, minerals, water, fibre. We're going to be using it in the lesson later on. You could start thinking of foods that are high in these different things. We'll talk about it later on, but you can get ahead of the game. Maybe even Google it a little bit. You've got about 8 minutes now, sorry. About 8 minutes, so you can get ahead of the game. Put some really good answers in the chat when we get onto that, so don't need any answers in there yet, okay? Going to be getting on about 8 minutes or so. Hope you're all ready. Good to see you down, guys. See someone asking about yesterday's lesson. Yesterday's lesson was a maths lesson. If you're on my channel, there's a playlist called Live Lessons, and it's got them all there with the dates on. So if there's any you missed, any you want to do, they are there to be able to do again. Okay, so I think it was Ray who said that. So it was maths Ray. If you need to catch up or anything like that, or you want to, you got time, it's there for you if you want. Okay. Morning Seb. Morning Christian. Morning Liam, morning Joshua, good to see you guys. Loads of people in there this morning, ready and waiting. 50 already, waiting to get started the lesson. About 5 minutes or so, guys, I'll be back and we'll get started. Right, hi guys. It is nearly time to start the lesson, so we're going to start to get ready. Right, so it is 10 o'clock there now, so we're going to start the science lesson there. Good morning everyone who's down there. Said some good mornings earlier on. Sorry if I missed you out. There are a lot of people in there. So just good morning, and I hope this lesson is helping you. So, as we know, on a Wednesday is our science lesson. So the science lesson that we do, there'll be work that goes alongside it. That'll be available in the Padlet in the description below. Just to let you know, because it looks like there are new people in most days. All the lessons that I've done before are on a playlist, Mr. B's live lessons. So there's now, I think, 6-7 hours worth of lessons up there if you want to do them. Remember, this time, okay, that these lessons are to do if you can. There's no expectation for you, especially from children from our schools, no expectation for you to do them. It's just to do as much work as you can to keep up to date, okay? We know sometimes it's going to be hard, and it's harder not being in school like we normally would. So for all of you in the chat that are getting involved, that are coming along regularly to the lessons and stuff, really well done. For those of you if you only come along to a couple and that's all you can get along to, that's fine as well. Brilliant on you for doing what you can. So it's great to see you along. So same as always, we're going to go over the lesson. I'll stay afterwards to help you with anything you want to. You can contact me on my socials, Facebook, Instagram and Twitter, Mr. Bings123. You can contact us on the Padlet, which is the link is down below, and there's also an email address on there if you need to send in any work or anything like that. Mentioning that, I did get a lot of the heart diagrams sent in from last week's lesson, okay? Thank you for all those. I think I'm going to put a post up either today or tomorrow. I've got a lot of work on at the minute. But Instagram post up today or tomorrow when I can get them all together to put them up, because there are some really good ones in there. Thank you for anyone who sent me in that, okay? I think I'm also going to send out the art pictures I got sent in as well, but I'll talk about that in our art lesson later on. If you need any help at all, okay, there are teachers in the chat. I'm here, I'll look at the chat when I can, but the best place for help is on my socials, in the comments on the video, not in the chat, okay? In the chat's for us to talk with each other, have a go questions, things like that, for you to catch up with each other. It's the comment section that we want you to put any questions that you have in, okay? Because I might miss it on the chat, because obviously I can't see the chat while I'm doing the lesson. One more thing to mention before we get started with the lesson is last week we had a Kahoot to go with our lesson on the circulatory system, okay? And I said I would announce the 3 people who came in first, second and third, okay? There isn't a Kahoot this week, but it's because we have an experiment which we'll get to at the end of the lesson. Interesting. Well, I think so. So in third place on the quiz on the circulatory system, we had joint third place. We had Isabel. There was no second initial, so I know there's a couple of Isabels that watch. I don't know which one that is. Like I say every lesson, if you are having to go to the Kahoots for English, for maths, for whatever ones I put them up for, okay, please put your second initial. If you don't put your second initial, I've just got Isabel, so it could be a couple of people. And someone who did listen, Amelia C. Okay, well done, you were in joint third. We had Jack S. in second place. Now this one, we have the winners. Now I don't know whether there's going to be controversy or not, but it says the Ray brothers, okay? So we got brothers in there, so there's more than one, so I don't know whether we give them it. I think they actually got top marks, so I'll allow it, but that might cause some controversy because everyone else did it on that one. I don't know, we'll see. So last week we did the circulatory system, okay, and that's what we looked at over the whole of the lesson. So we're going to do a little quick recap of that. If you weren't in last week's lesson, that's fine. Have a go at the questions that I'm going to ask you, and if you don't know the answers, have a logical guess. Have use what you know to have a guess, and you can obviously watch the lesson again if you want. If you have no idea at all, just listen and you'll learn something. Every day's a school day. So in the chat, What are the three most important parts of the circulatory system? I'll give you a clue. It's the three main parts that we looked at last week. You do a diagram. I had a diagram of three things on the board. One here, and one there. What were the three things? What are the three most important things in the circulatory system? And let's have a look. Bringing some answers in straight away. Okay, well done, Isabel. Okay. Well done, Sunset Gamers. Well done. So you say, well done, Mrs. Rice there. Just put the question again. You can have a go as well if you want, Mrs. Rice. Well done, Christian. Let's have a look. Well done. Be thankful. Peter Howe. Emily. Simon. Seb, William, Olivia. Oh, we've got loads of answers coming in there now. Really well done. Okay, so it was lung, it was heart, everyone got. Okay. People are sort of getting the next one. They're saying veins, blood, artery. Remember, we call it the blood vessels. So your blood vessels are your heart, are your veins, your arteries, and your capillaries. Okay, remember those are the three things, and we call them blood vessels because they transport blood around our body. So really well done there. One more question. I asked you a question about why is some blood red, and why is some blood blue in our body. Okay, and we also worked out as well at the end of the lesson why blood turns red when we cut ourselves. Okay, even if it's blue inside us, it comes red when it comes out because of this thing. So why is some blood blue? Why is some blood red? Can you remember? Okay, if you're going to remember the name of the thing that actually doing, well done, Milo. If you can remember the thing that actually changes it as well, okay. Remember my brilliant Scottish accent. If you put that in, that's double well done. Well done. I've got lots of answers in there. Lots of right ones. Well done, Kiwi. Well done, Amelia. Well done, Christian. Well done, Jacob. You're all seeing oxygen, but which one's red, which one's blue? Okay, so is it red blood has oxygen in it and blue blood doesn't, or blue blood has oxygen and red blood doesn't? Okay, so put red or blue. Which blood has oxygen in it? Okay, and if you're thinking of the thing that turns red, it's oxygen. If you can't remember, it's hemoglobin. I put that question in just so I could say that. I got mad props on my Scottish accent. Well done. You know what is there? Okay. Some people putting O2 as well, the oxygen, the chemical thing we looked at. And then lots of reds coming through. Well done, Freya, Jasmine. Well done, Isabel. Well done, Cameron. Well done, Emily. You only have to put the answer once in there. Okay, if you're putting it in loads of times, you'll probably be timed out. Okay, loads of answers coming through there now. Okay. And it was red blood has oxygen in. And last little question for the recap of the circulatory system we did last year. What is the job of the circulatory system? Okay, we know it's the heart, we know it's the lungs, we know it is the blood vessels, so your veins, your arteries, capillaries. We know it's blood that's transporting round. Some of it's red because it has oxygen in, some of it's blue because it doesn't. But what is it actually doing? Why do we have the circulatory system? What is our heart doing when it pumps that blood around our body? Okay, what is it actually doing? And it's really important. It's going to help us with today's lesson, because in today's lesson, what the job that it actually does is going to link in a lot with what we are actually doing. Now, not so many answers. It does keep us alive. Okay, but how? What is it doing? Okay, get blood around the brain. Okay, that's good. Someone's why do we want that blood around that body? Okay, why do we want the blood to get around the body? Does keep us alive. See, this one has stumped a lot of you. Okay, I've got one person I think mentioned something. Okay, lots of people telling me that it carries the blood around the body. Yeah, it does. That's great, but why? Okay, so the job of the circulatory system is to move that blood around your body, so it goes to the heart, to the lungs to get some oxygen, and it goes around your body. What is the blood doing when it goes around your body? Why do we need it? It keeps us alive, but how? What is it actually doing? It does help our muscles, but how? What does it give them? Okay, and what does it take away? There's a little clue. What does it give, and what does it take away? Okay, so when the blood goes round, when it's going to our muscles, our organs, all those things, it is giving them something. And when it is coming back, okay, and goes to the lungs, it is taking away something as well. So we've got saying oxygen. Yeah, it transports oxygen and gives oxygen to our muscles. It also gives other things as well. So the blood, when it goes round, okay, it transports that oxygen around, delivers that, but it also delivers around the body. So when we eat food and stuff, which we're going to look at today, all those nutrients we take in, they are given to the blood, and the blood goes around and gives them to the different muscles, the different organs, everything like that. It also transports water around the body, and then it also takes away, as people mentioned this earlier on, okay, because I remembered it was CO2, it takes away waste like carbon dioxide, takes to the lungs, so when we breathe out, it can go out, okay. So great little recap there, lots of answers there, see that you've worked hard on that. So today what we're going to look at is we're going to look at a healthy lifestyle. So we're going to look at diet, we're going to look at exercise, okay? We're always told about keeping a healthy exercise and eating healthy and things like that. But what we're going to do today is science. We're going to look at science. We're going to look at why it's important and things that happen when we do or we don't have a healthy lifestyle, okay? And this is important at the minute because obviously we are currently in a situation where we can't do as much exercise and go out and stuff like that as normal, okay? I definitely know about that because I'm normally playing football every week, training with the girls football team every week and things as well. Not getting to do that now, so we've got to only go out for an hour to do that. Not just doing Joe Wicks and stuff like that. Absolutely brilliant, okay? And we're going to see why it's important today. So ignore this triangle over here for a little bit. What we're going to do is we're going to look at these things. I've wrote some things on the board, different things that we do in our lives. And what I want you to do is think about which things of these are healthy and which are unhealthy. So just take 5 seconds and think, have a look at them. Which ones are healthy? Which ones are unhealthy? So what I want you to do now, in the chat, can you write down the things that are here that you think are healthy? What things do you think are healthy? So we have eating a takeaway, dancing, drinking pop, going for a walk, playing video games, putting butter on food, eating chocolate, drinking water, sleeping, eating an orange or a banana or some sort of fruit, okay? Put down in the chat which ones you think are healthy. I'll say which ones we are coming up with. So people saying dancing, going for a walk, sleeping, drinking water. Some good ideas there. What about, let's have a look, going for a walk, drinking drinking water, easy for me to say. Sleeping, well, we've got, oh yeah, sleeping down there, people putting in some really good ideas. Eating an apple, yeah, like fruit, eating an orange, going for a walk, sleep, or lots of you picking those ones in there. Okay then, so can you put in the ones from here that you must think are unhealthy, or maybe put down the one you think is the most unhealthy? So out of these things, which do you think is the most unhealthy? Okay, Jake, now we've got eating food. Have a look there. We've got eating takeaway. We've got eating an orange. We've got eating chocolate. Okay, which ones of those do you think healthy? But at the minute we're doing which one do you think is the most unhealthy. So which ones do you think is the most unhealthy? I'm just going to wait for the chat to come through. Still getting some. Right, here we go there now. Pop them through. Eating chocolate. Always playing games. That's interesting. We're going to come back to that one at the minute. Always playing games. Who would have said that one? Cameron, well done. Okay. Eating takeaway, eating chocolate, playing video games, everything apart from the good things, so they're all equally unhealthy. Good idea there. Eating chocolate, takeaways, drinking pop, eating a takeaway, eating chocolate. So we've all got very, very similar ideas, which shows me that you sort of know in your head roughly what it is to stay healthy, because a lot of you are right. But we're going to have a look at these in more detail, okay? So we have lots of things here. Some things are a lot more healthy than the others. So eating a takeaway, probably not very healthy. Dancing, healthy. Drinking pop, not a very healthy thing. Going for a walk, healthy. Playing video games, not the healthiest thing. Putting butter on food, we'll leave that one for a minute, we'll come back. Eating chocolate, not the healthiest. Drinking water, very healthy. Sleeping, healthy. Eating an orange, healthy. So we have those there. Now I've said healthy or unhealthy, but technically I'm not right, okay? Because those things are healthy for you, but only in what we call moderation. And I mean everything, okay? So not just the unhealthy things, also the healthy things. Sleeping is essential, okay? We all need to sleep in order to our bodies to relax, to reset, to help them build and get stronger. However, if you sleep all the time, that is unhealthy, okay? Playing video games, people said that was unhealthy for you. Yeah, it can be, but I play quite a lot of video games. You know me, I'm a geek, I'm a nerd, okay? I'm proud, and I play a lot of video games. But that's a way that I relax, and it's important that we relax to stay healthy. So as long as I'm not playing video games all the time, it can be quite a healthy thing for me because I'm relaxing. Going for a walk, really, it's a good healthy thing. It's a form of exercise that we're going to look at later. But if you are a person who has maybe some sort of health issue, or you're a person who's a lot older, and it's hard for you to do physical activity, if you had to go for a long, long walk over and over and over again, it would actually probably make you sick, make you poorly, okay? So again, it can be unhealthy. And again, things that are really maybe unhealthy that we're looking at, drinking water. Drinking water is brilliant, okay? Keeps you healthy. This is really, really healthy thing that we're going to look at later on. But if you drink too much water over and over and over again, not good for you. Again, with the takeaway. Eating a takeaway is probably, let's have a look, probably the most unhealthiest thing that we have up on that board there is eating a takeaway. However, every now and again, if we have it in moderation, we can still have a takeaway, okay? So this one doesn't really become healthy at all. However, it doesn't mean that we can't do these things, okay? It doesn't mean we can't eat chocolate, we can't eat the takeaway, we can't play on video games, okay? Those things are important for not just our health, but our mental health, because if you enjoy food, having a takeaway every now and again might be good for you. If you enjoy playing video games, that makes you a happier person. If you enjoy chocolate, which we all do, that is a good thing for you. That can help your mental health. It release what we call endorphins in your brain, which basically means happiness, okay? Endorphins, if you ever hear that, means a little thing in your brain going, you're happy, okay? So those are important for our mental health. So all these things, whether they are healthy, whether they are not, they have to be done in moderation. And as well as that, these things as well, just because some things are unhealthy doesn't mean you can't do them at all. Again, going back to the moderation, it means you have to sparingly do them and make sure you're doing them in the right amounts, and we are going to look at that now. So, all things in moderation are okay when we're talking about food, because we're going to go on to a healthy diet now. Now, diet, the word diet means the food that you eat, because a lot of people, when they hear the word diet, they think of I don't know, Barbara, who's trying to lose 17 stone before she goes to Magaluf, okay, and she's on a new diet where she only eats oranges, okay, and she turns into an orange. That's not a diet, okay? Well, it is a diet, it's when you're changing what you eat, but your diet means what you are eating, so we all have a diet now, okay? Whether you're trying to get healthy or not, whether you're trying to lose weight or not, whether you're trying to stay fit or get stronger or not, you all have a diet. It is the foods that you eat, okay? And when we talk about moderation, well, if we have all the foods in the right moderation, we call that a balanced diet, because we're eating the right amounts of food. So what we need to aim for to stay healthy is have a balanced diet, okay? We have a balanced diet. So when we are picking things to eat, it's really important to look at what is in the food rather than what the food is, okay? So here we have a food pyramid, okay? And this food pyramid shows us the different things that we need to eat in our diet to stay healthy, okay? And the things at the top, we need to eat less of, okay? The things at the bottom, we need more of, okay? So as you go down, so these are in the middle, you need an average amount of these. So you can see we need the least carbohydrates, Then you need next protein and fats, and then the most of you need your vitamins, your minerals, your water, and your fiber. Okay, so as you go through, you need less of them. See, now what I said there is less of them, so it doesn't mean we don't have carbohydrates. We need carbohydrates for our bodies to work. We just have to have less of them. Now, the things that we need less of, okay, mainly these two, okay, tend to be in those unhealthy foods that we like. So if you eat lots of unhealthy things, you're eating too much from these, okay? So what we're going to do first is we're going to go through each section, and we're going to see if we can think of foods that go in each one. So we're going to start at carbohydrates. Now, lots of foods will have carbohydrates. Most foods will have carbohydrates. Most foods actually will have all of these different types of things: vitamins, minerals, water, and fiber, just in different levels. Okay, some foods have lots of fats, some have very few fats, some have lots of vitamins, some have very few vitamins. But most food will have a little bit of the most of these. Okay, even if it's a tiny amount. So when I'm asking you for foods that have carbohydrates, okay, we could have a list as long, practically all the foods that we are thinking of. What I'm asking you to do, can you in the chat give me some foods that you know have lots of carbohydrates? Okay, can you tell me any foods that have lots of carbohydrates? Okay, if you play sport and do things like that, you might know this one because it tends to be foods that you eat just before doing exercise, and we'll have a look why once we finish our pyramid. So I'm going to put my iPad there because I'm going to keep picking it up as we go through this pyramid. So we've got, I'm going to put them, I'll put some inside while we can, then I'll put them on the outside. We have pasta. Someone said bread. What I would be doing in your notes is I'd be making a note. You might want to draw the pyramid, okay? But you might just want to make a list of the foods that we have that are really rich in carbohydrates. Can't fit it in, so we'll have a bit of baked potato because it saved my life. Okay, so potato has lots and lots of carbohydrates in. Someone's put pizza there, and pizza does have a lot of carbohydrates. I'm going to put that on. Okay. Now, what I'm going to do is the foods that we are talking about that have lots in, I'm going to put in capitals. But pizza, I'm going to put in smaller letters and circle it. Okay. It has a lot of carbohydrates in because the base is made of bread. Okay, and we've said bread has lots of carbohydrates. So pizza does have lots of carbohydrates. So well done, whoever that was. Okay, so we've got a few things in there, and there's lots more. If you have a look online, you can have a look at the list as long as your arm. Okay, we're just going to put a few things in so you can see which type of thing. So the food we need least of carbohydrates, we're talking things like pasta, bread, potato, pizza. That's why you shouldn't be having loads and loads of breads all the time. That's why people tend to sometimes have wraps, because there's less carbohydrates in wraps than bread. Okay, so little things like that. Now we're going to move on to protein. Okay, so can you think of foods that have lots of protein in? Pop them in the chat and we'll put them on. Okay, I'm just going to add some little notes onto this while you are popping them in. So we're looking at protein now. Does anyone know foods that have lots of protein? People are saying meat. Yeah, so we have meat. Now I'm going to put meat there, and then what I'm going to do in brackets is I'm going to put chicken, because meat does have protein in, but different meats have different amounts of protein. So chicken has a lot of protein in it, okay? Things like beef and lamb have less protein than chicken. So I put meat because it all has rich in protein. That's where we get a lot of our protein from, but it's chicken that we can get lots of from there. Beans. People put beans there. Okay, very English thing. Yeah, beans, things like that. Baked beans, things like that have lots of protein in them. Yes, people saying almonds. So what I'll do there is I'll put nuts, almonds, peanuts, things like that. They tend to have protein in. Brain, someone said eggs there. Eggs have lots of protein in them. Well done, Ollie there. Yeah, fish. I know some people class this when they think of meat, they think of fish, but it's slightly different. But fish has a lot of protein in it there. And it can be, I'm going to put dairy. Okay, now when I say dairy, I'm talking about your milk, yogurts, things that are made from milk, so cheese, things like that. Okay, so dairy, I'll put in cheese, yogurt. Okay, so things like that. So we've got loads of protein there, so that's brilliant. Fats, okay. Fats, orange. Can we think of foods that are high in fat, have lots of fat in? There might be some things that we've already put up here, okay? So if there are, you can put them in. But what foods tend to be high in fat? People put beans and pulses. Yeah, they are as well. They're rich in protein. Haven't put them on as much because trying to put on foods that you probably recognise. Some of you might know pulses, some of you might not have as many. Okay, so let's have a look. People, fats, we're putting crisps. Yeah, crisps have lots of fat in. And sometimes it can be the way the food's created. So crisps have a lot of fat in because it's potato, but it's fried in oil, okay? And there is one, oil, okay? So now you might think I don't eat oil, but lots of food is cooked in oil. If it's cooked in oil, it takes some of the fat from that oil and goes into it. So that's why crisps are high in fat, because they're fried in oil. That's why sometimes you see healthy crisps and it says baked, because they're not cooked in oil, so they haven't got the fat from that oil, so they're better, healthier for you. We've got Haribos, things like that. Yeah, so we're talking sweets. And when we're talking sweets and things like that, we're talking about stuff that's high in sugar. Sugars can have lots of fat in. So we're talking, well done there, chocolate. What I'm also going to put in there is cheese. We'll put eggs in as well. We've already got those two, but I'm going to put them in. They can have quite a lot of fat in. Okay, so let's move on to vitamins. Okay, vitamins. Can you tell me different foods that have vitamins in them? Okay, now there's lots of different types of vitamins. We'll have a look at a few in a little bit. But can you tell me what foods have lots of vitamins inside them? What foods have lots of vitamins? Got some people putting fast food, so I'm still see, sorry, my chat's a little bit behind. I can still see some people putting food in for fat, so takeaways, things like that. Yes, it tends to a lot of be not just the food inside them. So people saying pizza, you've got your cheese on there, haven't you? This different thing, but it's also the way they're cooked. Okay, so burgers and things like that are fried in oil and things like that. So those takeaways become unhealthy because of the things that they have in them. Because if you're having a burger, you've also got your bun, which has lots of carbohydrates, so it's unhealthy in that way, isn't it? Not just because of the fats. Right, okay. So vitamins, people saying fruit, oranges. I'm going to put some examples down rather than just putting fruit. So we have oranges. Put fruit at the side here. Yeah. Fruit has lots of vitamins in there for us. Okay. I'm going to put tuna in there. Okay, not as much as other food that are richer, but tuna does have certain vitamins in that are really, really helpful for us. Well done, Mrs. Carthy, with her broccoli. Now, there are lots of fruits and veggies that have lots of vitamins in, but what I'm trying to put up here are ones that I think are quite rich in vitamins. Out of the best of them, they have lots and lots of things in. So broccoli, okay, so you can see when we're looking at it, why sometimes it can be hard to have a healthy diet, because we've got our pasta and our pizzas and our burgers and crisps and sweet, and the things we need lots of. We've got our broccoli and our fruit, okay? So that's why sometimes it can be hard. Someone's put sweet corn there. I'm going to come back to that one in a little bit. Carrots, well done. We've got carrots have lots in. So we've got things like carrots, mushrooms, lots of things there. Fruit and veg mainly. So let's move on to minerals quickly, okay? What type of things have lots of minerals in? Now, vitamins and minerals are normal, can sometimes be put together. Normally, you might see this together and in food as well when you're looking at packaging and things like that. Minerals and vitamins can be put together, so sometimes it'll be hard to see which ones have which in. Okay. So someone put corn there. So someone mentioned sweet corn before. Yeah, corn has lots of different minerals in there. And I'm going to put one on that while the chat things are coming through, you might not think of, okay? Salt has lots of minerals in it, okay? Now, we shouldn't have lots of salt because it has other stuff in that's not quite healthy for us, but it does have some minerals that we need, and so some salt in food is really important. Oh, and people are putting salt in there as they've got it. Well done. And we also have things like, we've got to be thinking of liquids as well, things that we drink. Milk, okay, has lots of minerals in, one called calcium, okay, which is really, really good for us. And then we've still got things like different types of fruit, like bananas, things like that. Now, this one might seem obvious. I've got water, but does anyone know any foods that have lots of water in? So obviously we're just going to put water, because drinking water is really important. But there are foods as well that has lots and lots of water inside them. Okay, let's see if we can see. Oh, someone's put spinach there for minerals. Well done. Well done. Straight away, Mrs. Carthy, give everyone else a chance. So we have celery, cucumber. These actually have quite a lot of water in. So although we're eating, we're actually getting some water as well there. And see some emojis. I don't know which ones they are. Yeah, strawberries. I haven't fit it in. Sorry, it's quite small. So strawberries, there's lots of things that have water in. And our last one, okay, fibre. Okay, fibre. What type of things have fibre in? It really, really impressed me how many answers I'm getting through here. The chat is going so quick. Coconut, water, brilliant. Watermelon. Let's see what you've done there. Well done. But let's think of fibre. What foods have lots and lots of fibre in? Now, there's one that's probably going to pop up straight away that I think people know have a lot in. And I'm going to talk about that because it's also at the top and it's at the bottom of our actual pyramid. Okay, so we have something at the top there. I'm going to see if it's popped in yet. Cereals, that's not what I'm mentioning about when someone's mentioned cereal. So cereal does have lots of fibre in, depending on which cereal, okay? Some cereals are rich in fibre, some are rich in sugar, okay? Those are the ones normally I like, the Lucky Charms, unfortunately, okay? But we can't have those all the time. Your things like your bran flakes, let's have a think. Your shreddies and things like that, that aren't the frosted ones, they have lots of fibre in, which is good for you, okay? So some people saying bread, that's the one I was talking about earlier on. So bread has a lot of fibre in there. Okay, people saying brown bread and whole wheat bread. Different types of bread have different amounts of fibre. But as we can see as well, this is why it's hard. We need fibre, which is in bread, but also bread has lots of carbohydrates, so we shouldn't be eating a lot of bread as well. Some fruits as well. So we're going to see banana again. You can see how these are healthy because we have some that are in more than one category. So if you're having one, you're getting some vitamins, you're getting some fibre, those things that you need lots of. Okay, so your cereals, your banana, different fruits and veg as well have them. We're going to leave it there, okay, because we spent quite a big time going through those examples. It's really good. I'm really impressed with how many different ones that you came up with there. They all came from you. I only added a couple, I suppose. Now you can see all different foods that we eat, all in the different sections. So like we mentioned before, these are the things that we need a little of, and these are the things that we need lots of. So we do need all of these types of food, but we need them in different quantities. Now, sometimes you will see this pyramid done quite differently, and at the top you will see your breads, and then your meats, and then your fruit and veg, and water and stuff, and your milk, rather than having what's actually in the food on there. However, as you're getting older now, it's more important to know what it is from the food that we need rather than the food. So when you're younger, we tell you need to eat lots of fruit and veg. So your fruit and veg is at the bottom, okay, because we know it's got lots of these things. And we say don't eat much bread, but have a little bit. And we say eat some milk and eat meat and things like that in a moderate amount, so that the children know what to eat, because they can't understand these things like vitamins, minerals, fibre, fats, protein and carbohydrates. Okay, we'll leave this on a little bit so you can copy it down, or copy examples if you want to. Okay, so that's what we tell when you're younger. But now that you're getting older and you can understand these things, we are telling you what it is you need from your food. Because then, rather than saying you have to eat lots of fruit and veg, lots of a little bit of meat, not many pastas, not much pasta, not much bread and potato, rather than saying that, we can tell you what you need to eat, and you can decide what you want to eat, but you just need to be mindful of what is inside the food, and that's what's most important. Okay. Now, certain foods have multiple. So like you see, we have bread there. Bread has fibre and has carbohydrates in. It's rich in those, okay? Most foods have a little bit of everything in. Okay, there might be the odd protein sometimes you don't get from things, but fats and your vitamins and your minerals and your water and your fibre, unless it's something really unhealthy or something really healthy, all the foods in the middle tend to have bits of all of them. So you can see, if you just ate one type of sort of all fats, you'd still be getting a little bit of these, okay? So if you're eating things like sweets, it would still probably have some of these things in, just very small amounts, so that's why we shouldn't eat as many of those ones. So in order to have a healthy diet, in order to have a balanced diet, it's important that we eat all the nutrients in the right quantities, okay? There's certain foods that probably you don't like, so you're looking at here and saying, oh, I don't really like anything in the vitamins and the minerals or the fibre. You might see that, and that's okay, because you might not like those, but you have to think, right, well, what is a healthy alternative I can have? If I'm not getting my vitamins from oranges and broccolis and carrots and mushrooms and tuna, what other foods, and you have to have a look, find out, have lots of those vitamins in that I need, okay? So in order, you still have to have those things in your body. Your body needs all of these things. So if you don't like certain foods, you have to find alternatives to make sure you are getting all these different things. Now, I mentioned it's good to know the different things that you need to eat. Okay, as in, I know I need this amount of vitamins, this amount of minerals, all those type of things. What's really handy for us now in the UK is when we buy food, it'll have on the back, it'll tell us how much it has of all these things in. Okay, it won't say you need to have this amount of this a day, this amount of this. It will just tell you a percentage. Okay, so if you pick up some sweets and it says this chocolate bar has 50% of your fat for the day, you know that you've had half of the fat you've got to have for that full day, okay? So when you're eating your other things around the day, you need to eat things that are lower in fat, because all the foods that you eat are going to probably have bits of fat in them, okay? So if you eat 2 chocolate bars, you ate all the fat you can for that day if you have 50% of your fat in it. Then when you're eating other things like your tea, you're going to get more fat, even if it's a healthy tea, there's still going to be more fats in that food, so you'll have more. Again, if you have 3 or 4 sandwiches with bread at dinner time, you might have too much of your carbohydrates, and then later on when you go to have your tea, you might have a healthy tea, but you have more carbohydrates, and then you've had too many, and that's not healthy for you, okay? Especially if you're not having enough of the other things. Now, too much of food in one area. Right, let's have a look. Before we go on to this one, okay? In the chat then, we talked about a healthy diet, what we need to do to be healthy. Balance, we need these different amounts. In the chat, what do you think is an unhealthy diet? How would you describe it? Okay? What is an unhealthy diet, because I've just said there that you need to eat all of these things. So you can't say an unhealthy diet is when you eat bread, because we need bread, because we need carbohydrates. We don't need bread, but we can get carbohydrates from bread, so it's not completely unhealthy. And I've said that about all foods. So how would we describe an unhealthy diet? So Sam, you're saying eating lots of fat is an unhealthy diet, and you're saying because it clogs your heart, so you're telling us what it does as well. Thank you for that. So Sam thinks eating lots of fat, too much fat. Freya saying eating only fats, only carbohydrates would be an unhealthy diet. I would agree with you, because I've said we need to eat all of them, don't we? Well done, Freya. Isabel, I'm going to come back to your answer because it's a really, really good one. Eating lots of fat, salt and butter, Sunset Gamers. Well, sugary cereal for breakfast, burger and chips, pizza. So you're telling me on a day what you would eat. And that definitely sounds good, because it sounds like you're having lots of fats, lots of carbohydrates, okay? Only very few of the other little things. Too much sugar. Now, too much sugar tends to be unhealthy, because sugar turns into fat, okay? So I should have I'll put it up on here. Sugar, okay? So sugar gives you energy, but then when it's not used, it turns into fat. So if you have lots of sugary things, eventually it turns into fat, and you've eaten too much from that. Eating lots of fatty foods, eating lots of salty foods. Right, okay, some really good ideas there, and all of them that I saw were right, okay? But I'm going to go back to an answer that Isabel put on, which was perfect answer about what I'm going to tell you anyway, okay? When you think of unhealthy food, people always think it's having too much of this, too much of that, your fats and your carbohydrates, because that's what we're told. The reason we're told that is because that's what we need the least of. So that's the easiest way to be unhealthy. The easiest way to be unhealthy is to eat these foods, because they tend to be foods that we like, and they tend to be foods that we don't have much of. So that's what people think of when they think of an unhealthy diet, and they're right, but that's not the only unhealthy diet, okay? An unhealthy diet could be having too much, okay, of any of these, okay? You need a lot of vitamins and minerals, but if you only eat food with vitamins and minerals in, and you don't eat your pastas, your carbohydrates, your fats, that is not healthy, okay? You need fats and carbohydrates. So if you didn't eat these, you are going to be unhealthy, okay? If you only eat meat, okay, you're going to start to become unhealthy. You need other things to go with it. So an unhealthy diet is not just eating too much of these things. Okay, it could be eating too much of vitamins, minerals, having too much fibre, too much water. Okay, you go to the toilet a lot, but too much water can eventually become bad for you. This is the hardest one for it to become bad for you. But as well as that, not having enough as well. Okay, you could say, right, I'm not going to have any fat at all because I'm going on a diet, I'm trying to be healthy. Your body needs fat. If you're trying to be healthy, you're trying to exercise and get stronger. With no fats, you're not going to be able to do that at all. You're not going to have the energy to do that exercise. So as well as too much of a food group, too little of a food group as well. So if you're having no carbohydrates at all, okay, you can maybe do it for a little bit, which some people do when they do diets, but in life you need those carbohydrates to stay healthy. Especially at your age, you need all these food groups in the amounts that we've said, a little of these, moderate amount of these, and lots of these, because your body is growing and your body is getting stronger. And if you don't, it will affect how tall you get, okay, how strong you get as you're growing up, okay. So I don't want to see people saying, I'm not going to eat fat, I'm not going to eat carbohydrates because I want to be healthy, because not eating fats, not eating carbohydrates is as unhealthy as eating too much of them, okay? So always remember that when we're talking about a healthy diet. So, let's have a look. So there are also different types of nutrients. For example, there's different types of these, okay? Different types of nutrients, different types of fats, different types of carbohydrates. And I'll give you two little examples to know, because fats, yes, we need to eat a moderate amount of amounts, but there are good fats and there are bad fats, okay? So earlier on I said I was going to come back to eating butter, okay? Eating butter is a healthy thing because it has good fats in. We can't eat lots of it because it's one of the things that we shouldn't be eating much of, okay? It also has protein in, but butter is healthy for us. just a little amount though, because it has good fats. However, when you have things like takeaways from different fast food restaurants, things like that, I was going to say names of them there, and I realised I'm on YouTube, and I don't know, they might come knocking on my door asking for some money, suing us. Okay, so fast foods tend to be different types of fats. They have things that we call saturated fats and polysaturated fats and trans fats. Those things are fats that are really unhealthy for us, okay, and we don't need those types of fats, okay, and that's why takeaways tend to be the unhealthiest thing that I had up there, okay. As well as carbohydrates as well, we have things called complex carbohydrates and simple carbohydrates, and we're not going to go into too much detail with them, but complex carbohydrates are really hard for your body to break down, okay, so they stay in your body for a long time. Simple carbohydrates can be broken down quite quickly, okay, so they can give you a short burst of energy, where complex carbohydrates give you a long burst. So there is more to it than just this, okay. So when you're saying, oh, I need some fat, I can have a burger from my favourite takeaway restaurant, those type of things can have the wrong fats in as well. So always check your packaging, see what it is that we have in there, okay, and I'll tell you what percentage that you are having. Now, it can be hard to have a healthy diet because there's lots and lots of foods that we need less of, are unhealthy, but taste quite nice. So we try to have a healthy diet for a reason. It's not just because we say, right, we don't want to have loads of sweets, we don't have loads of pizzas and burgers and all these nice foods. We're not saying that we don't want all of these things, okay? We are saying that we need to eat less of them because we want to be healthy, and it's important, and I'm going to tell you why it is important. So let's see what these different things do for your body. So I'm going to write them down. If you want to pop notes down as we're going, you can. So first one I got at the top is carbohydrates. Okay, so I'm just going to put a C. You know which one I mean. You might want to put next to it if you've got space on your paper. So carbohydrates, they are important because it gives energy. It gives energy to cells, okay, and protects muscles. Okay, think about that. You might be writing it down in the chat. Then, why do you think sportsmen and women have lots of carbohydrates when they're trying to be healthy? You're not supposed to have lots of carbohydrates. They will eat lots of carbohydrates before maybe they play football or run a marathon or doing a dancing event. They'll have lots of carbohydrates, but why are we only supposed to have a little? Pop it in the chat why you think. And it's important to have as well enough carbohydrates, and this is why I'm saying we need all types of food, because it gives us that energy. And if we don't have our carbohydrates, then your body starts taking carbohydrates from your muscles, okay, because your muscles will store carbohydrates in them. So it'll take carbohydrates from your muscles to use as energy. So that means you're becoming weaker if you don't have those carbohydrates. So if you're doing lots of exercise and you're not eating enough carbohydrates, you're not going to get stronger, because your body's using all of the carbohydrates from your muscles and making them weaker in order to work. So, should we see why we eat? Brilliant, Amelie. Really good answer there. So we've got lots of people. Isabel, Amelia, Lucy, Ollie, Joshua, Isabel, okay. Saying lots of really good things there, saying energy, okay, it's giving them energy. Yeah, they need this energy in the cells in order to do whatever it is that they're going to do. Amelie there, I'll come back to her answer because she said slow release energy, and that's the type of energy it is. It's slow release, so it doesn't just give you a burst of energy, which something like sugar might do. It gives you energy that you can use over a long period of time. So if you're doing a long marathon or you're playing a 90-minute football match, it's going to give you energy through it for a longer period of time than just having something that gives you a quick burst of energy for 5 minutes, and then you probably have a energy come down, okay? So it gives us that energy. So yes, so although we have these in different amounts, different people eat different amounts of them. Sports people will have more carbohydrates before they do sporting events, okay? Only on those days though, to give them that energy, okay? Days when they're exercising a bit more, days when they're doing loads of exercise, even more, okay? People who are massive like The Rock, okay, they have lots of carbohydrates, because if they don't, their body will start taking carbohydrates from the muscles, and they want to say, hench. I don't know why I'm doing that because I'm not anywhere near that. Okay, so let's move on. So that's why we have carbohydrates. Now, let's move on to change the colour so we don't get mixed up. That's another black pen. I'm going to move on to fats. Okay, so this is why our body needs fats. It holds cells together. Okay? So we need fats because it holds every single cell in our body together. So we are made up of millions, trillions, billions, whatever it is, of cells all around our body. Okay, it's in our blood, it's what our skin is made up of, our organs, everything like that. They are held together by the fat that we eat. Okay, so you can imagine if you don't have fats, it's going to start affecting the cells in your body and making you feel like you need more energy because you haven't got that energy to make those cells. Now we only need, like I said, not loads of fats. Okay, your body doesn't need loads of fats to use for the cells to keep those cells together. So I just had a little slip there, said sats rather than fats. Must have something on my brain. It holds them together. So if we don't, however, if we eat too many fats, what our body does is it keeps the fat, okay, on our body. So then later on, if we do need the fats to make our cells stick together, it will use it from our body. So it keeps it there as a sort of defense mechanism in case we're not going to get any fat in the future. But obviously, if we do keep eating fat, it just means we keep storing up more and more and more. So that's why it's important we need to have a little bit. So next we're going to go on to protein. So tell me what type of people, as I write my definition, in the chat, what type of people are going to need protein? Okay, so it's needed to create muscles and organs. So what type of people might need a lot of protein? I'm just laughing there because it's also used to make hemoglobin. I know I keep going on the same joke over and over, but I love it. So needed to create muscles and organs. So what people might need a lot of that. Okay, what people might need a lot of that. If it's used to make muscles, sports players, people who play competitive sports, gym people, I like it, gym people, yeah, your bodybuilders, like I mentioned, people like The Rock and all those people that have really big muscles, they need lots of protein, so they eat lots of meat, lots of chicken, lots of those type of foods, they eat lots of chicken and carbohydrates at the right time and protein in order to build those muscles up. Okay, so if you're working at the gym to get those big muscles but you're not eating protein, you won't get them because you need your protein to make them. Okay, so vitamins and minerals. Okay, they help your body in, and I'm going to put this in capital, loads of ways. Now this sounds a bit vague. Now the reason is I'm going to give you a couple of examples, but there are too many for me to go on. Your vitamins and minerals do so many different jobs in your bodies. So let's have a look there. Vitamin A helps you grow, and it also helps with your eyesight. Vitamin C, which you get from oranges, things like that, helps you to fight infections. So if you get infections, vitamin C will help you fight that. Go on minerals, things like calcium, which you get in milk and things like that, and dairy. That helps to strengthen your bones and your teeth. I don't know why I had teeth. Iron, okay, which we use to metal, but we do have that in our food as well. That helps the brain, and it helps to carry oxygen. So there's so many more as well, okay? So many more vitamins that help you in different ways and do different jobs in your bodies. That's why we need lots of different ones of them, okay? So I wrote lots of ways because I can't go into too much, okay? So we mentioned water. It helps to control your temperature. When we are too warm, we sweat, and that's our body letting heat out. Okay, so sweat's a good thing. We sweat in order to cool our bodies down. So it helps us keep cool. Okay, helps us to control our body temperature, and it's vital. Water is really vital. It is actually, it's quite a cool fact, about half your body weight. Now I said about because not exactly on everyone, okay, but it's about half your body weight. So half of everything that you weigh is water because it is in your blood. Okay, so the blood cells move around your body in your in the water that you take in. 92% of the blood is actually water. Okay, so it carries them all around the body, and that obviously carries your nutrients and your vitamins and your oxygen around your body. So if you didn't have that water, it would be important. So remember as well, water, we've got it at the bottom there, you need to tend to drink about 2 litres a day, okay? That's 8 glasses, Mrs. Rice, okay? 2 litres, Mrs. Rice, 8 glasses, okay? 8 normal glasses, not 8 pints, okay? So you need to drink about 2 litres of water a day because you're using water all the time. Even if you're not red hot, you're still sort of sweating your body, and what body's using water in order to transport the blood around and stuff. So you need about 8 glasses of water to stay healthy, okay? And it's better to drink it gradually through the day. Okay, if you drink, I haven't drank any water today, drink 2 litres, that's not going to stay in you. You know what's going to happen, you're going to rush to the toilet and you're going to lose half of that anyway. Okay, so it's important to drink that 2 litres as you can throughout the day rather than drinking it all in one go. That's always best. Sometimes you drink more water, okay, than 8 glasses. Obviously, if you've been exercising, you've been sweating more, if you've been playing football, if you've been doing dancing, horse riding, whatever it is you've been doing, if you've been sweating more, okay, you're going to want to drink more water. Okay, and your body will naturally make you thirsty because you need to replace all that water that you're losing from sweating. So that is our healthy diet. But now what we need to look at a little bit is exercise, because we eat all these foods, but we also need to exercise. Okay, so exercise is basically any type of physical activity, so stuff that we are doing that raises our heart rate, okay, makes our heart beat more. So any physical exercise that we do that makes our heart beat more is classed as exercise, okay, and it raises your heart rate. So how fast your heart is beating is how hard your muscles are working, because they need more nutrients, they need more vitamins, they need more oxygen. So your heart beats faster, get around quicker. So that's because you're doing exercise, because your muscles are working more. So exercise helps us strengthen our bodies. And there are 2 types of exercise that strengthen different parts of our body. Okay, so we have muscle strengthening, and we also have bone strengthening. And both of these are really, really important, okay? Lots of people, when they think of exercise, think of your muscle strengthening, but we also need to strengthen our bones, okay? And especially important when you're younger and your bones are still growing, especially when you're older, okay? To strengthen those bones up. These things are both really important. So it's vitally important that we strengthen both, because it helps our body to function. Muscles help us to move all our limbs, okay, move our head, our legs, our arms, all those things. Your heart is a type of muscle, so getting stronger is always more important. Okay, your bone is obviously, they're all in your body, they protect your body, so your rib cage is connected to is protecting all your lungs, your heart, all your other organs, but they also keep us upright, okay, so they keep us walking, okay, they make us be able to pick up things that we wouldn't be able to do if our hands didn't have the bones in. And obviously, if you don't have strong bones, if you get knocked and stuff, you will break bones easier and things like that. So both of these types of exercise are really important. Now, exercise is physical exertion, so when we're raising our heart rate, like I said. So when we think of exercise, people always think, like, we're going to do swimming, we're going to do football, we're going to go and run a marathon, we're going to do all these things, and that's exercise, these vigorous, high intensity exercise. And you are right, they are high intensity exercise. However, people don't think of things like walking and just keeping moving and things like that as exercise, but it is as well. It's just a more moderate, it's lighter exercise, and it's important because some people who maybe have health issues, or who are older, or who are even younger, okay, and your muscles are still growing, and you can't do as much high intensity exercise as other people, okay? Because your health changes as you get older. You get older and older, and around 25 to 30, you hit your peak of your healthiest, okay? The healthiest your body can be, I should say, and then it starts to slowly go downhill. Trust me on that, okay? So you can do different amounts. However, it's easy to stay healthy and it's easy to do exercise in other ways as well. Going for a walk is an exercise. So walking, rather than sitting on the sofa, your heart rate is beating harder, your muscles are working, you will be getting healthier, okay? Even little things like sometimes people stand up when they work, okay, rather than sit down, because your body has to use the muscles to stand up rather than work. Now, it's not a huge exercise, okay, that's going to get you really, really healthy and be able to run marathons, but you are doing a form of exercise where your heart rate and muscles are going to be working harder than if you weren't, and that is all what we class as exercise. So a healthy diet goes hand in hand with your healthy exercise. If you do one and not the other, it is not going to work. Okay, so you need to have a healthy diet and healthy exercise. Now, we've looked at why we need a healthy diet, what it does for us, but I'm going to make a quick last little thing we're going to do before I tell you what the work is you're going to do, I'm going to do a quick little list of why staying exercising and getting regular exercise is important. Can you put them down in the chat there now for me? What I'm going to do is I'm going to start the list and I'm going to get the teachers. I think Mrs. Carthy's in the chat there because she's put a couple of messages on for me. Mrs. Carthy, as I'm putting these on, once I've finished, would you be able to tell me how many they got, okay? Because I'm conscious of how long the lesson's going. So I'm going to put down a list, and this is a good list to write down in your notes. This is why we need regular exercise, okay? And to be doing it regular exercise, okay? So this is why it helps with sleep, okay? Give you a couple of seconds to get them down, see if you can get them before I do. So it helps you fall asleep faster, okay? So you're not in there laying awake in your bed, not being able to get to sleep. It helps you get to sleep quicker, but it also lets you have a deeper sleep. And the deeper you are sleeping, the more your body can repair itself and fix itself and get ready for the next day. Now, I know there's going to be some that you don't get here, okay? I just want you to get some really good ideas there, okay? Increases number of, make sure I spell this right, capillaries. Thought it was double L. So it increases the number of capillaries in muscles. Now, last week you might have said, what does that mean? This week, obviously, we did the capillaries last week. Capillaries help your muscles and organs get nutrients, oxygen and water. So if you have more of them, your muscles can get more nutrients quicker, more oxygen more efficiently, okay, so they can work better. So we know that is important. Now, we mentioned the muscle strengthening, but one of the very important muscles it strengthens, okay, is the heart. Now, the heart isn't just a muscle, it's a muscle organ. It's a muscle and an organ type of part of our body, but the muscle part of it is strengthened when we do exercise. So when we strengthen our muscles, our heart is one of the most important ones that we are strengthening, okay? Blood circulates quicker, so your blood transporting all those things that you need moves faster. If that moves faster, okay, then you're getting those nutrients quicker and your body can fix itself, repair itself, build muscle a lot quicker. Good for mental health there, Drew. Yeah, that's a really good one. Yeah, but that type, some people really enjoy doing exercise to relax and to chill out and to turn the mind off, not think about work and stuff. They can forget about it and just go for a run or play football or something like that. That's a really good one, Drew. Can you keep put some really good ones in the chat for us, please, Mrs. Carthy? I'm going to put that one straight on there, Drew. Okay. So it strengthens our diaphragm and intercostal muscles as well. Again, last week you might not know one, but that's those muscles that help us breathe in and out. So if they're stronger, we can get more oxygen in and we can get rid of those waste quicker, okay? Which again helps our body everywhere. And let's have a look. What increases try to pick ones that you probably didn't come up with, okay, first, so it'll give you a chance to get some in there. So if we have a look, I'm just going to put these here, little blue ones. Now that's how it links into last lesson, okay? All of this healthy diet and this healthy exercise is because, and I'm going to put some more on, okay? But those things there, you can see with the blue, they're all the circulatory system that we looked at last week, okay? So if our circulatory system is stronger and working better, then we are healthier, our muscles and organs can be healthier, they can repair themselves if they're damaged, all those things because we are healthy, okay? So those things all link in our circulatory system last week. Let's have a look. Keeping fit in general, yeah? So being able to do sports and things, okay? The fit you are, it does things like this, it strengthens your muscles. Strengthens muscles around your body. So if you can lift harder, lift things that are heavier, if you can kick a football further, things like that, because your muscles are stronger, it helps you to be fit more in general. Well done. Helps with confidence, helps, again, linking with our mental health, helps with maintaining a healthy weight and size, yeah, okay, because if we're having too many fats, that's when we start to, that starts to change. I'm going to go with mental health here. I'm going to put I mentioned this a little bit earlier and I've got it on my list, but I'm going to put it in with Drew's great answer there, is it releases brain chemicals that make you feel happy. So I mentioned about the endorphins, and that's why it's good for our mental health, because it releases these things called endorphins, you might hear the word in other lessons, things like that, that make us feel happy, and that's why it's good for our mental health, okay? That's why it can make us there. Strengthens muscles, our joints, so where our muscles meet, joints become stronger. If they're stronger, we can kick, we can throw, we can do all those things, we can handstand and things like that, cartwheel, do all those things better. Bones become denser. So when a bone becomes denser, okay, it means it's getting thicker, so width, okay, they're getting thicker, which means they are stronger, so you're less likely to break a bone or anything like that. And last one, increases blood cells. So it increases the amount of blood cells that you have in your body. So you can see everyone just thinks it's good to stay healthy because I can play sport more, and it makes sure that I'm not too big or I'm not too small, okay? But actually it is doing lots of things inside our body that are really and really important to do with our circulatory system, to do with our mental health, okay, to do with making sure that we don't hurt ourselves, things like that, okay? So I'm going to leave that up while you get a little bit copy. That's the last little bit of work. I'm going to tell you what it is we are going to do from this lesson, okay? So there's some work to do on the Padlet down in below, year 5, year 6, you will see the link. If you go to it, there will be some work to do, okay? So if you go to those, you need to, in the Padlet work, okay, it will tell you what it is. It's a PowerPoint, there's no worksheet or anything, because what you need to do, I'm sorry, I'm just checking on the work that we've got this week, is to, you're going to create a poster in order to inform or persuade other people on how important it is to stay healthy, and maybe how to stay healthy as well. So you can mention the benefits. You've got all these here. We mentioned earlier with the fats, the vitamins and stuff, why you needed them. You can mention examples, so you can give examples of the exercises they could do, fun ones, how it's easy, of foods that they could eat, anything that you want in that poster. Now, if you go to my school, on Purple Mash, there will be a to-do on there, or there will be some science work, which is a poster, okay? So you can make it on there. You don't have to though, you could just do it on paper, do it any way you want. Obviously, if you don't go to school, use paper, use a computer, whatever it is to do that poster to try and persuade people. That would be absolutely brilliant, okay? Put all those different facts on. Again, like the heart, I said, I mentioned I'm going to put those on Instagram. I might put them on my Twitter and my Facebook as well. But really good posters, send them in to me, please, so I can see all the brilliant work that you are doing. Now, this week there isn't a Kahoot, and there isn't a Kahoot for a reason, okay? There is also another task for you to do. Not just the poster, there is going to be an experiment as well. So, the experiment that we're going to do, don't need any equipment much or anything like that. What we're going to do is, we mentioned that exercise raises your heart rate and it helps you to work your muscles, okay? You use effort, you raise your heart rate, you work your muscles. Now, we can't really measure how much effort you're putting in, and we can't measure how much your muscles are working, okay? You can with really scientific equipment, but we can't really do that, okay? But one of them, measuring your heart rate, is something that we can do, and you can measure it by measuring what we call your pulse. So, your pulse, what we do is measure it, and we find out how long it is, how many times it is beating in a minute, okay? And that's what we call our BPM, beats per minute, and that tells us what our heart rate is. So when you see a number, your heart rate is 70, it means in a minute your heart rate is beating 70 times, or 80 times, or 100 times, whatever it is. So there's two ways to take your pulse. Now I'm going to tell you and show you how to do this now, because it's important. You can come back, remember the video you'll see online, you can come back and watch this part when you go to do the experiment. I don't know whether you can do the experiment on the poster first, if you do the experiment second, you can come back to this and I'll show you how to get your pulse. There's two ways to do it. We can either count our pulse for a minute, or we can count it for 30 seconds and then just double what number we got, okay? And it's more accurate because you're not concentrating for as long. So, in order to find the pulse, we need to use our index and our middle finger, okay? So we have our fingers like that. And what we have to do is when we're checking for our pulse, we need to do it gently, not too hard and not too soft. If you do it too soft or too hard, you won't be able to feel your heart beating, okay? Because that's basically what we're doing, we're feeling our heart beating. Don't use your thumb. Okay, if you use your thumb has its sort of own pulse of its own, not its own pulse, but you can feel the pulse a little bit later in your thumb. So if you use that, it will confuse you and you'll get a little bit mixed up. So don't use your thumb, use these two fingers. And there's two places that we can really check it. Okay, around about here, there's a little soft bit, okay? And you can put your thumb and your finger there and you will feel your heart beating, okay? Apart from that, you can also get it from your wrist as well. Now with this, you need to keep, I'm just checking now, you need to keep your palm up and your elbow slightly bent. So not loads, not flat, okay, you need your elbow slightly bent. You need your palm up, okay? Normally put it into a fist can help as well. Okay, and you put your fingers there on the base of the thumb. You can see my thumb's there and you get it there. Now, it can be hard to find your pulse. You have to be quiet. You have to try not talk. Okay, so when I'm doing it here, I can't really feel my pulse at the minute. You have to relax and really concentrate in order to read your pulse. So you might want to practice before you do the experiment. Okay, you might want to practice getting your pulse a couple of times, okay? And some people find it easier there, some people find it there. Some people find it really hard and you really have to concentrate, but you can have a go. Some of you might have a Fitbit, okay? If you have a Fitbit, it will count your heart rate as you are going. What I would say, if you have got a Fitbit, see if you can still find your pulse, because it's a really important thing for people to do, okay? Make sure you're alive. You know, find your pulse, okay? And see if it's the same as what your Fitbit's saying, okay? And maybe have it on the other arm and see if it's the same. So, you need to be able to find your pulse. We've had a little talk about that, and you can watch that again if you want to know it. So what you do is you count in your head. You'd have a timer for 30 seconds or a timer for a minute, and you would count. And when the timer finishes, however many times you've counted, if you count for a minute, that's your BPM, your heart rate. If you're doing it for 30 seconds, so if I Right, it was 35 times in 30 seconds. I'll double that, so it's 70 times in a minute. My heart rate is 70 BPM, 70 beats per minute. Now, for our experiment, what we are going to do is we are going to work out, going to try and work out which exercise is going to increase our heart rate the most. So, which exercise is going to increase our heart rate the most? Okay, so that's the experiment we're going to do. That's what we're going to find out. So what you're going to do, I'm not going to tell you which exercises. I want you to pick 3 or 4 exercises. Okay, 3 or 4 exercises. Could be running on the spot, could be star jumps, could be hopping, could be a plank. Okay, lots of different things, exercises you will know. You can pick which one. And what you're going to do is you're going to make a little table. Okay, so you make a little table on here. Exercise. So along here, this column, you're going to write in what exercise. So I might say star jump. Okay, remember these are just examples. Choose your own. Running. Okay, I'm just going to put jumping. Okay, I know it's simple, but I'm just going to put jumping up and down. Okay, so what you need to first do is get your resting heart rate. Okay, now your resting heart rate is basically, what is your heart rate when you are not doing exercise? So when you're sitting relaxed, you want your resting heart rate to be measured, because then we can see how much it is increasing, because that's the big thing. So you get your resting heart rate. We might say 71 is the resting heart rate that we've got. Okay, and what you're going to do is you'll do your star jump, and what you're going to do is you're going to get your resting heart rate, and then for 30 seconds you are going to do that exercise. Do star jumps for 30 seconds. As soon as that finishes, you are going to take your heart rate, okay, and then you'll write down what your heart rate is. I might say, oh, it's went up to 100, okay. I'm just putting rough numbers in here. Yours might be completely different. So then you're going to rest for 30 seconds. Then you're going to do it again, 30 seconds. What's your heart rate now? Then you're going to rest for 30 seconds. And then you're going to do it for a third time, take your heart rate and put it in the last box, okay? Then what is really important is you take a little rest, so your resting heart rate, your heart rate goes down and you're relaxed again, okay? When that happens, okay, you're going to do your next exercise. So take your resting heart rate, right, it's about the same. It might be 70, but we don't have to wait, but we'll put right 70 on there. It's around about the same now. And you're going to do the same with your second exercise, then take your rest and do the same with your third exercise, okay? And then you will see which one has the biggest effect on your heart rate, which one got your heart rate to be the highest. At the bottom here, I've got average, because what you're going to do is you are going to add all 3 of these together, then divide them by 3. And that will get you your average. Because if you've got 3 different ones, obviously they are being affected in different ways. So we get an average by adding how many we've got together. So we've got 3, so we add them all together, then we divide them by 3, because that's how many we've got. If you did the exercise more times, if you did the exercise 4 times, you'd have to divide by 4, because that's how many times you did it. And that's an average. And then you can have a look at your average and see which one affected your heart rate the most. So what you've got to do before you start this is make a prediction. Okay, write down which one you think is going to affect you more, and then say why. Okay, which one's going to affect you more, and say why. Then once you've done it, okay, look at your results. Were you right? If you weren't right, why do you think? Okay, were you more tired when you did the last one? Did you put more effort in when you did this one? Are you moving more when you do that one? Have a think of those scientific things. What is it that's causing your heart rate to increase more than in other exercises? And that is your work for your science lesson to do. Okay, so Like I said, the stuff on the Padlet is there, but those are the 2 tasks that are on the Padlet for to do, so you don't have to pop up to there if you don't want to. And like I said, it's on Purple Mash if you want to as well. Just mention that year 5 from our school, you might have already done this, but you're welcome to obviously do it again as well. And obviously you've got some time, so let's maybe choose some different exercises to check our heart rate. So if you've already done this, absolutely brilliant. And then next week, just to let you know, year 5, because I know you've done this these couple of lessons, we are moving on to a new topic. Okay, we're going to be moving on to space and the planets. Okay, so next week we're going to be moving on to those things. So everyone will be learning some brilliant new stuff. I'm really excited about that because again, the geek loves space. So those are the different things. Again, thank you for coming along to the lesson. In the chat, you've worked really hard. I've got some really great answers. Get in contact in the comments if you need a hand or you don't understand something. Same with our my socials, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, all Mr. Biggins 123. Send me those posters, okay? Maybe you want to send me some pictures of you doing your experiment, okay? And tell me which exercise was the best. Then we can compare next week, see which exercises increase our heart rate the most. That would be absolutely brilliant. So to these ones, just to remind you, today there is a lesson at 2 o'clock. It's an art lesson, and I'll show you. We're going to be creating something that looks a little bit like these, okay? A very famous Brazilian artist called Romero Brito. We're going to be working on these together. I'm not going to be doing live lessons tomorrow because I am at school. That's why I'm doing my art lesson this afternoon. So there'll be no live lesson tomorrow, and that's why we're doing our art lesson, okay? Don't know how much you can see those pictures, but they are really, really cool. So for that lesson, for the art lesson, you'll need paper, pencil, colouring pens. Colouring pens are the best, but if you don't have colouring felt tips or anything like that, you can use pencils, those fine, and colouring pencils, sorry, and you might need a rubber. So all those, you know how to get in contact. Padlet below as well, you can get in contact with us if you don't need understand something or you need help with anything. I hope you've enjoyed today's lesson. I'll stay around in case you've got any questions or anything like in the chat for the next 5 or 10 minutes. Need any help, let me know. Okay, apart from that, brilliant work in the chat, really well done. I'll hopefully see some of you at 2 o'clock for our art lesson. It's really cool on this afternoon, so please come along. Okay, bye to those that are going, and if you need to get in contact with me, you can pop it in the chat right now. Good work. Just got a really good question there. Well done, Isabel. You are switched on. Didn't realise I did have it in my notes, but I must have missed it out. I mustn't have mentioned what fibre does for your body. Okay, I'm going to rub these off because we should all have them there now. I didn't mention what fibre helps our body with. Isabel, you are on the ball. Well done, keeping me on the straight and narrow. So fibre, it helps digestion, okay, which means when you break down the food that you eat. So it helps digestion, it helps our helps the bowel, which is your large intestine, things like that, that break down the food when you eat it and get the nutrients out, okay? So if you didn't have fibre, it would be harder to break down the food that you were eating and getting all the other things, okay? Once again, thank you, Isabel. I apologise if I missed that one when I was going through the lesson. That's what I'm doing down here. I'm just at my computer looking at the chat. Okay, I know you can just see the top of my head, just seeing if anyone needs any help. Just to let you know the work that goes with the lesson, I have mentioned it just before there, but it is down. If you click on the links in the description, there's 2 Padlets, which is just be a page with all our work on. And if you go to the science section, you can have a look and see what the work is there. See you later, Joseph. Art this afternoon, some people asking. We are creating some art in the style, if you can see those, I'm just waiting for the light to catch up, of a famous Brazilian artist called Romero Brito. So we're going to be making things that look a little bit like this, working through step by step. Okay, so you'll see them better when we get into the lesson. By Joseph, both Josephs. Right, okay, there doesn't seem to be many questions or anything that people didn't understand in the lesson coming through there. So I'm going to leave the lesson there, get my phone in charge so we can do our art this afternoon. Once again, thank you everyone for joining in the lesson. Can be watched again if you've joined late. Okay, as soon as it goes, the live stream finishes, you can watch them again. Same with all the other lessons, all free to access and get on there. Thanks very much. Hopefully see you 2 o'clock for our art lesson. Goodbye.